Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start this video by giving the praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachak Quadash, and double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Shalom, first and foremost, to the 144,000, as well as the arrest of the elected of the nation of Israel. This is Arat Hazah from the Great Millstone GMS Atlanta camp. And I just wanted to get into a video. I'm going to try to keep it as short and keep it as concise as possible, dealing with the topic at hand, dealing with Bishop Nathaniel of the IUIC. Apostle Kabar did a video where he was highlighting something that Bishop Nathaniel has said in one of his Saturday live streams or classes, and he's going into Revelations 20, as well as certain other prophecies, and he he basically gave the wrong breakdown concerning Revelation the 20th chapter, and Apostle Kabar put it out there for brothers that wanted to respond and go into it. And basically, when you go into Revelation 20, for people that's not really not really studied, Revelation 20 could be a little tricky, because it's 2,000-year periods. All right, when you read it, which I'll as a matter of fact, I'm gonna just play the video. You see, I got a video here that a brother recorded. Probably not gonna play the whole thing, but I'll just let you hear it if you haven't already. If you did hear it, you could probably fast forward the lesson. I'm gonna just play it so that you can hear how he broke it down. All right.
That are on high.
Because there's this white man. Go ahead.
That are on high.
Because they run the earth. Go ahead.
And the kings of the earth upon the earth.
And all his allies too. Come on.
And they shall be gathered together.
Oh, watch this part right here. Read it again.
And they shall be gathered together as prisoners.
As what?
As prisoners.
As prisoners. What's going to happen to the white man? They're going to be gathered together. Those that are left after the destruction shall be gathered together as prisoners. Go ahead.
Are gathered in the pit. And shall be shut up in the prison.
Oh, we're going to shut them up in prison. Go ahead.
And after many days shall they be visited.
Wait a minute. Then it says, and after many days shall they be visited. Go ahead. It's going to explain later on.
Then the moon shall be confounded, and the sun ashamed, when the Lord of hosts shall reign in Mount Zion.
So the sun and moon of the nations, their wisdom, their understanding, going to be confounded, not ours. Go ahead.
And in Jerusalem and before his ancients gloriously.
Now let's get some understanding of that. Let's go to Revelation 20. Revelation 20, and we're going to start at verse. Let me look at it first, Jerry. I want 7, but I might want to hear 4. Let me hear 4.
Revelation chapter 20 and verse 4.
I want y'all to listen good.
And
now this goes between Ezekiel 37 and 38. Go ahead.
And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were
Okay, so what he's doing, the scripture he just read in Isaiah 24, where it mentions the elites of Esau being shut up in prisons, and we're going to visit them after many days. They're going to be put in chains and all that. He's trying to correlate that with the beginning of Revelation 20, where it speaks about how Satan was bound 1,000 years. Let me read that. I should have it up already. Okay, this is Revelation 20, and starting at the top. Now, this is what he's saying, that Isaiah, I think he read Isaiah 24 and 20 on down. He's saying that this is talking about the same thing on the same time period, when it's not. All right. Now, this is Revelation 20 and 1. It says, and I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit, which we always go into the bottomless pit. That's talking about Europe. All right. Because it doesn't have any real natural resources there. Hence, it's the bottomless pit. All right. And it says, in a great chain in his hand. Excuse me. And it says, and he laid hold of the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. So Bishop Nate is saying this, is talking basically in correlation with Isaiah. I think he read Isaiah 24 and 20. All right. Right. So is Isaiah. This is Isaiah 24 and 21. This is after the destruction. Is after Esau is brought down. All right, and we're basically going around and putting the nations in subjection. All right, this is verse 21. It says, "And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall punish the hosts of the high ones that are on high, and the kings of the earth upon the earth, and they shall be gathered together as prisoners that are gathered in the pit, and shall be shut up in the prison, and after many days shall they be visited." So again, just to reiterate, he's saying this and what we just read in Revelation 20 about Satan and the dragon and all that being bound for 1,000 years. He's saying this is the same thing, the same prophecy, but it's not. All right, this right here, what I just read in Isaiah, is a future prophecy after the destruction and when the kingdom is being set up, and we have to gather the elites and all the elites of Esau and the nations, put them in slavery. But Revelation 20 is referring to when Esau was in subjection during the Byzantine Empire. All right, that's the 1,000 years that it's speaking about there, and he's going to mention it in a mocking type of way because he doesn't understand, or maybe he does understand. Maybe he's just teaching something that he's been told to teach, but he's thinking that there's only 1,000 year period in Revelation 20th chapter, but it's two different 1,000 year periods. Okay, let's just go back to the video. Excuse me. Let's see. All right.
For the witness of Jesus.
I saw the souls of them that was beheaded for the witness of Jesus. Go ahead. That's the apostles in them. Go ahead.
And for the word of God, and which had not worshipped the beast nor his image.
Right. So verse, which he says it right here.
It's the rest of us today.
Right. So verse 4, that it kind of jumps ahead. You see, verse 3 was talking when we just read about Satan being bound 1,000 years. That was back during the Byzantine Empire. Because the Byzantine Empire was stood for 1,000 years, and Esau was in total subjection. But when you read verse 4, like what they're reading now, this is talking about in the future because it mentions the beast. All right, because the beast wasn't back there, during ancient times. The beast, the image of the beast, and the mark. All right, which he's going to break that down wrong. That's talking about right now. Okay.
And which have not worshipped the beast, what?
Neither his image.
Or his image. That's the image of the beast, the white Jesus. Go ahead, and all that pertains to that.
Right. The image it's not Caesar Borgia. The image is Esau's system, which is based upon the Roman Empire. All right. It tells you that in Revelations, the 13th chapter. All right. Where it speaks about how I can't word it verbatim, but it says that he had an image that was wounded. It says it was wounded by a sword, but did live. That's talking about the fourth beast, the Roman Empire. All right, let's keep going.
Come on.
Neither had received his mark upon their forehead.
Nor believed in his policies. Go ahead.
Or in their hands.
And we didn't struggle with it. We didn't.
Right. He said the mark of the beast is the policies. No, man, the mark of the beast is the RFID microchip, which we've said this over and 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 over again. Well, let's keep going.
Take part in it. Go ahead.
And they lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years.
We lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years.
See, so what he's failing to realize is that the 1,000 years in verse 4 is a totally different 1,000 year period. That's talking about in the kingdom. All right. What he just read in verse 4 is a whole different 1,000 year period, man. So that's where he's getting the breakdown wrong at. All right, in which, you see different elders and apostles. Pretty much everybody's going into it saying the same thing. And just showing that you got to really know how to work this, especially this particular chapter, because it time jumps. All right. So yeah, you read the latter part of verse 4. Is neither have received the mark upon their foreheads on their hands, and they lived and reigned with Yahweh Shai 1,000 years. All right, that's in the kingdom, which is the first dominion, or as it says in verse 5, the first resurrection. It says, but the rest of the dead live not again, which the rest of the dead is talking about the other nations. All right, the other nations are going to serve hardcore bondage for that 1,000-year period, but after that first 1,000 years, that's when they're going to be able to quote unquote live. All right, they're going to have their land. We're going to set the nations up, or whatever. And they're going to be able to, so-called live, so to speak, have their land. But that 1,000-year period is going to be hardcore bondage. All right. It says until the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection. All right. Now, when you keep reading, verse 6, it says, blessed and holy is he that have part in the first resurrection. On such the second death have no power, which the second death is talking about the nuclear destruction. But they shall be priests of the Most High and of Yahweh Shai, and shall reign with him 1,000 years. Now, when it jumps, now goes to verse 7, all right? Verse 7 has no correlation really with what we just read in verse 5 and 6, from verses 4 to 6, about the 1,000 years of us reigning with Yahweh Shai. This is talking about back during the Byzantine Empire, when Esau came back during the Renaissance. All right, verse 7, it says, and when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison. See that? That's talking about during the time of the Renaissance. All right, the 13, 1400s. All right, and it says, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four corners of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. All right, this ain't talking about in the kingdom, man. All right, this 1,000-year period with Satan being loose is not talking about in the future. All right, it's talking about right now. Satan is loose. Esau is loose. He was bound for that 1,000-year period in the Byzantine Empire. All right, and then as prophecy stated, that the deadly wound would be healed. Esau would basically resurrect and come back. All right, and he'd go to war. There's not going to be no wars in the kingdom, man. All right, Isaiah the 2nd chapter completely goes against what he's saying. Let's get Isaiah chapter 2. All right, it's not going to be no wars. It's not going to be no uprisings. No, there's not going to be no Edomite. The Edomites are going to rally together to try to come against us, try to come against Yahweh Shai, to overthrow the kingdom. That's utter madness, man. As brothers have stated. This is Isaiah chapter 2, verse 1. This is the word that Isaiah, son of Amos, saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. Excuse me. And it says, and it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains. This is going into the kingdom being established. All right, the government of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. It says, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. It says, and people shall go and say, come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the Most High, or the power of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem, right? This is the kingdom of heaven. And it says, verse 4 is the point. It says, and he shall judge among the people and shall rebuke many people. All right, why? Because we're going to have to put the nations in check. We're going to have to teach them the laws, and they're going to have to bend to our ways. All right, it's going to be a total, basically total domination, man. All right. So and it says, and they shall beat. Here's the point, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their their spears into pruning hooks. It says, nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn of war anymore. That makes it clear. There's no other way to explain that. There's no alternative breakdown. Plain English. So it's not going to be any wars or any wars or any type of battle or combat in the kingdom. The nations are going to be in total subjection. All right, Esau's not going to try to rise up and try to rebel against the Israelites, man, which is what he's going to say in that video. And it says, O house of Jacob, come ye and let us walk in the light of the Lord. All right, let's go back to the video. I think he has a little more on it. So you basically see the premise of what he's saying. All right, he's thinking that there's only 1,000 year period there, and that's why he's getting tripped up, and he's trying to fuse together two different prophecies, man. All right, and that's not what it's talking about.
Beware of these dumb Israelite camps that say we lived and reigned with Christ during the dark ages. Was our people righteous during the dark ages? Hell no, we was wicked as hell. So you mean to tell me?
All right, let me bring it back up a little bit. You see he's going into that.
With Christ during the dark
Excuse me,
ages.
Slakia.
Was our people righteous?
Let's see. Let's go back a little, just a tad bit.
And we didn't struggle with it. We didn't take part in it. Go ahead.
And they lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years.
We lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years. I'm going to say something now. Beware of these dumb Israelite camps that say we lived and reigned with Christ during the dark ages. Was our people righteous during the dark ages? Hell no, we was wicked as hell. So you mean to tell me Christ was sitting with us? We was reigning with him during the dark ages when we was worshiping Mary, worshiping idols?
See, and what he's doing right there is he's really trying to take a stab at us, which he's not even saying really what we teach. We don't teach that Yahweh Shah was back during it. That only makes sense. All right, but what we are saying is that it's two different 1,000 year periods in Revelation 20. See that? But he's definitely taking a shot at the apostles and a shot at the elders and the rest of the great millstone camps that teach that. But we don't teach that. You know, as he's putting it, oh, their teachers, you know, they was back, as he said, Christ. We was with Christ. No, man. Two different time frames. All right. But like I said, he's definitely taking a shot at GMS.
Are you crazy? Huh? Read it again, that bottom part.
And they lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years.
Verse 5.
We're just talking about, again, talking about in the kingdom. All right, that's in the future.
But the rest of the dead lived not again until the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection.
Here's another thing. Beware of dumb Israelite camps that say, oh, you can sin. It don't matter what kind of sin you in. You coming back as a baby in the kingdom of heaven. So if you're a child molester, a homosexual, an adulterer, drug addict, drug user, drug abuser, it doesn't matter. You'll die and come back as a baby in the kingdom of heaven. Read verse 5 again. Listen what the Bible says.
But wait a minute. Doesn't the scripture say all Israel shall be saved? In Romans, I believe the Romans, the 11th chapter. It says all Israel shall be saved. So that is true. Now, wait a minute. Also, you got to consider what does the scripture say? It says that a little one shall become 1,000. Right? So in the kingdom, we're going to have children. So the question is, who are these babies that are being born on the earth? These souls that are being born. Those are the Israelites that were destroyed on this side, that died. All right. This is Isaiah 60. Getting to the point, verse 19. All right. Again, it's talking about in the kingdom, in the future. It says that people also shall be all righteous. They shall inherit the land forever, the branch of my planting, the work of my hands, that I may be glorified. Right. So this, again, just reiterate, it's talking about the kingdom of heaven. Verse 22 is the point. A little one shall become 1,000, and a small one a strong nation. I, the Lord, will hasten it in his time. See that? So the Israelites, start with the elect. The men are going to have to repopulate our nation, because you're going to have a lot of casualties, man. All right, you look at the nation of Israel as a whole, and you apply the 2/3 formula or equation to that. A lot of Israelites you're gonna have a lot of Israelites that's gonna be delivered, but you're gonna have a lot of Israelites that's gonna perish and die. So in the kingdom, a little one shall become 1,000, meaning that what we're gonna have thousands of babies, thousands of children. So who are those babies that are being born? All right? Are they just they're just empty souls just to take up space? No, those are the souls of, because we always go into how the spirit never dies, right? Souls don't die. The spirits never, that's pure energy, right? So who are these babies that are being born or that are going to be born in the kingdom? Those are the 2/3 Israelites coming back through the loins of the elect. Hence why the Apostle Paul said, all Israel shall be saved. Yes, even the worst Israelite you could think of, man. Goddamn, Lil Nas X. Yeah, that's right. Lil Nas X is gonna be righteous in the kingdom. All right, he's definitely going to be judged on this side, but he's gonna come back in the kingdom as a little child. He's gonna be righteous. All right. Let's watch a little more.
But the rest of the dead live not again.
No, they came back as a baby, Yuri.
Live not.
Which we already established. The rest of the dead is talking about the other nations. All right, that's not in particular talking about dead Israelites. No, that's talking about the other nations. All right, and why is it that they're dead? Because they weren't given the law, statutes, commandments, which is life. All right, that was only given to the Israelites. So the dead is talking about the other nations that are going to have to serve hardcore captivity for that 1,000-year period. But after that, as I mentioned earlier in this video, they'll be able to quote unquote live in the kingdom. All right, they'll be set up, and then it's going to take 1,000 years for them to have the laws beat. Basically it's going to take 1,000 years to beat the laws into them. All right, it's going to take 1,000-year period of reprogramming. So again, man, that ain't talking about Israelites. All right.
Again,
He came back as a baby, Yuri.
lived not again.
Until when?
Until the 1,000 years were finished.
Until the 1,000 years were finished. Y'all see that? Go ahead.
This is the first resurrection.
Now, just keep reading. Just keep reading.
Blessed and holy is he that hath part in the first resurrection.
That's when Christ returns. We all want part.
Right. This is the verses that we already read already, but I'll let it run a little more.
That first resurrection. Go ahead.
On such, the second death hath no power.
That's when Christ judges the whole planet, all generations, all souls, all spirits. Go ahead.
But they shall be priests of God.
Those of us that take part in the first resurrection shall be priests of God.
And of Christ.
And
shall reign with him 1,000 years.
How long are we going to reign with him?
1,000 years.
Mm-hmm. Come on.
And when the 1,000 years are expired.
Now this goes back to what we read in Isaiah 24.
See how he said this go back to Isaiah 24? It doesn't. That's a different time period. This 1,000 years, I think he's in verse 6, or verse 7. That's talking about the dark. It is talking about the turn of dark ages, in particular, right after that, which was the Renaissance. So you see how he's, like I said, he's fusing together two different prophecies, and he doesn't realize, or maybe he does realize, but like I said, he's probably teaching this on purpose. That is two different 1,000-year periods. So I know I'll keep reiterating. I was hoping that's making sense for those that may be tuning into this video. All right. This has nothing to do with Isaiah 24 and 21 on down. All right. Two different time periods and two different prophecies.
And when the 1,000 years are expired, go ahead.
Satan shall be loosed out of his prison.
Oh, wait a minute. Go back to Isaiah 24.
So he's acting like so you see, he's saying in the kingdom, after 1,000 years of Esau being held captive and being in bondage, after 1,000 years, Esau somehow is going to be let free, and he's going to be able to roam around the earth, lie, start up wars and he's gonna go to war with. This is total madness, man. I'm let it play. I know I keep stopping this slide. I'm just trying to, you know, break it down as he's going. But that's basically what he's saying. After 1,000 years in the kingdom, with the elect there, the kingdom is set up. Yahweh Shai is there. Somehow Esau is gonna muster up the strength to basically come against us, man. That's basically what he's saying, right?
Boy, I just want you to see it. Isaiah 24, the second to last verse.
And they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit, and shall be shut up in the prison. And after many days,
many days is how long, brothers? 1,000 years.
Shall they be visited?
Now let's go back to Revelation 20, verse 7.
It is crazy.
And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison.
The white man that we lock up in the Caucasus Mountains again, we're going to let them loose. They're going to be loose after 1,000 years. Go ahead.
And shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea.
Now let me tell you something about verse 8. In verse 8, there's time in there. In order for Gog and Magog to gather together the nations against God's people, that takes time. It does not take a day. It does not take a year. Because not only do you got to gather nations, you also need what to come up against us? Weapons. Because remember, when we rule, if y'all remember, in Isaiah 2, what did we do? Nation learned what? War no more. We made them beat their swords into plowshares. So for 1,000 years, there's no war on the earth. Now we loose this white man. Gog and Magog go out to gather together the nations. Time is in there. And it does not say how long it takes.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's just wow. Damn, that's nuts, man. Esau's asking somehow Esau's gonna actually rebel against us. He's gonna get some weapons. That's not the breakdown, man. That's horrible, you know. He cut himself with Isaiah 2. It tells you plain. It's not gonna be no wars anymore, ever. Not after 1,000 years, not after 200,000. It's not gonna be no more wars, man. That's it. This is the last war that's approaching. And after this world destroyed, that's when peace is gonna reign forever, man. Esau not gonna try to come up against us. I mean, that was pretty much the point, man. I mean, it's so many different ways to go with it. You know, I really could have went into the chapters entirely, but I just wanted to hit those points just to kind of hit the point home that it's two different 1,000-year periods in that chapter. And if you don't have that in mind, if you don't know that, then that chapter could trip you up. Okay, Revelation chapter 20. All right, so yeah, I'm gonna leave it off there. I didn't want to make the video too long. Like I said, there's several other elders and brothers that have went into this this commentary. You guys, brothers in our camp here in Atlanta that did some videos on it. So yeah, man, Lord Williams was edifying, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bahashem Ruach HaKodesh, and Lord willingly to the next video, I'm gonna say Shalom.